All right, and welcome back to another coloring tutorial. I wouldn't call it coloring tutorial, but I'm just going to color my drawing that I have here. Now, before we get started, I have like 3 sets of pens here that I bought for specifically skin coloring. Now, this one, which I bought, and as you can see, they kind of beat up because I've used them the most because I like the way they feel. And I couldn't even tell you how to pronounce this. Is that upside down or can you see that? See if you can see that. It's QA. What is this? QIANCAILE. Now, I bought these a long time ago. I love these things. And there's only one review online for this pen. If you type these things up, there's only like one review, and that's in Spanish. So Uh, I don't know if you can probably still find them somewhere, I guess, but I don't know if that's Spanish for what are these Copics or I don't know, but these pens were really cheaper than Copics because when I got interested in coloring, everybody was hollering Copic, Copic, Copics. Copics are cost a car payment to get some of those things. So I bought these. I use these. And I love these things, but eventually, I guess I found a cheap little set for Copics, and yeah, and these are the Tombow. So I'm going to use the Tombow. I don't know where I was going, but I went there and I got lost. I fell off the cliff. So these are the Tombow. So I'm going to use the Tombow on these. Now this first one I did, this was all touch twin. I love touch twins because touch twins are a really great price compared to these monsters here, which are the Copics. So and then after this one, I hadn't colored in years and years, so I got back into this. So I did the skin tone with the Copics, which was not too shabby, and I did the actual color with the touch twin markers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try the Tombow because I bought these years ago, and I'm surprised that they still work. But I guess because they're oil based. So I'm going to try the Tombow on her skin, and it's kind of hard to blend skin coloring when you have a small picture like this. So I guess one day maybe I'll just draw a big face or big body or something and then try to blend them. That's when I really want to get serious about it. But for now, I'm a comic fan. I love comics, so I'm just going to just practice coloring. So, if I have to do a poster or something, I'll be able to color it without having to revert to Photoshop or any computer stuff because the more computer stuff you get into, the more you lose your skills. Just think about it. Think about it. It's easier to touch a button and change the whole color than it is to put the color down the first time and have it right. I can put green down and turn her skin pink and and adjust the tones and so forth. To me, that's not real skill. That's just computer savvy. If your computer goes out and you have to color a picture, you'd be lost. Anyway, I'm not getting on those computer people because I know they're like hating me right now. So let's get to coloring. Let's get to coloring. All right, so I want to try to keep her skin more pinkish versus brown like this guy. So starting out with the lightest color I have, I'm trying it on my test paper and I can see the paper's getting wet, but it's just like nothing. It's just like clear. So I'm wondering, is this like a blending brush or is it just that clear? It just says Tombow ABT acid free. I don't know. So I'm gonna go up to the next level. I would have liked to go on that level and then moved up to that level pink, but I'm gonna have to go with this second level and see where that brings me. Now the one thing I like about the Touch Twins, let me pull out a Touch Twin real quick, is because when it goes on, it kind of goes on that color and it may lighten up just a little bit, and then you can go over it again with it until you get that desired shade. But a lot of these don't do that. They go on one color and stay on one color. So let me do the hands just in that one shade of pink. And this is a photocopy, so I cannot erase really the extra shadow lines that you see. And usually when I color, I don't try to color the whole thing one shade. I'll stay with one small area. Like I'll color this arm first completely. And then I'll go and I'll color the other thing, because if it's wet, you can blend your markers a lot better. And maybe I should really clean my glasses and try to get some more light over to the side here. It helps out a little bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. So right off the bat, I'm coming back with a second coat of the same color. And you can see it puts a nice little tone line down, a little darkener tone line. And I may come back with some browns to give it more shadow. So if anything, I would do something like this shade here. Let's try this tan. Let's see what it, I don't want it, this looks orange. Test sheet. Yeah, that's yellow. I don't want that yellow. So, and I don't really want a darker pink. These are the three pinks they give you. They give you these three here, and then take away this, and then you go to this tan, which is more yellow. Brownish. It's not bad. It would be too bad for shading. So I guess I'm stuck with the middle pink. I want to go hard pink and maybe this shading color right here. So let's work on this back arm. Try to get like one shade strokes going in the same direction. And then I wait a few seconds, and then I'll figure out where my shadow is, and I'll go over it again. And then let's try this shade here. Slight shadow brown. Let's see, I don't want her body to be brown like the other guy. I want to kind of keep it in the pink area. All right, let's try this arm. There you go. Let's go over it one more time around where the shadow would be. Underneath. And I would have to determine where my light source is going to be at. So let's just say there's a fire here. So I'm going to incorporate maybe some yellow on the side. I really wasn't thinking that deep when I started to want to color this, about the fire and the light from the fire and so forth. It was just going to be a color picture, but eventually I want to get into doing a lot better in everything in art, which you should too if you're an artist or potential artist to be. Don't settle for just throwing some crayons on paper and then walk away. Improve wherever you can. I'll get this a little darker here and there. Let's see what we can do with the face. I don't mess the face up. Now realistically, I should have put some yellow or orange there, the color that I use, which I'll put some of that on there and see what happens later. So this side is going to be darker, of course. Away from the fire. Of course, under the eyes. And then I will come back with this brown and give it a little more shadow. And just for kicks, let me see about this little orange, this orange yellow color here. Just to kind of like represent a little bit of the fire that is blazing next to her. It'd be nice if I had some pale blue, which I might have to order the Paisley set of the Touch Twins, because these are kind of like the bright colors. They have a set A and a set B, and one is really bright colors. And since I did comics, I chose the bright colors versus the Paisley pale kind of colors. But when you're going to do something like this, you're going to have to think about those pale colors once you get into skin, doing skin and so forth. So, okay, here we go with the leg. Now, I don't know if these are refillable or not. I'm not sure. But if you get markers, it's best to get refillable. That way you don't have to, you could use them over and over. You don't get to use them like 4 or 5 times and then they run out and you have to go buy more markers. So I don't know. I think I had these as boots versus, I don't know. I'll give it some thought. So got that leg. Let's darken that leg, over that leg again. So I'm going to go halfway, at least halfway up with this shade color. And this is going to be all darker. Maybe a little bit over the edge to round it off. Then come back with this brown for the shadow and kind of draw out where I want that shadow to be. And then definitely here, this is killing my paper. It is eating my paper. No, it is. One thing that the Touch Twin and the Copics did not do is wet my paper so much that it started to tear apart. These are, so right off the bat, that's a no for these markers. That would be a no-go for these markers. All right, let's do this last leg, and then I'm going to switch up to my Touch Twins for everything else. So I think I'm going to keep that as some type of boot with a strap around it. Yeah. Still thinking about the boot. This is a good skin color, though. I'll give it that. It is a good skin color. Unfortunately, it's killing this paper. And this is it's not Bristol board. It's cardstock. maybe if I let it dry a little bit more before adding another layer, maybe that'll help it a little bit. But with Copics, I notice you can go right back, and with touch winds, I know you can go right back and add while it's still wet, and that's the whole purpose. You want to let it keep it wet so that it'll blend in. If I had, like I said, a light blue, or like a baby pale paisley blue, I could add some blue to the skin to give it more of a realistic feel, and which I'm looking at my other markers, which I definitely don't have. I think it would be too strong for that. Let's see if I can find the palest blue I have, which would definitely probably be too strong for the skin colors. Yeah, that would definitely kill it. So yeah, it'd have to be an almost invisible paisley blue to add to skin. So let's do this. Let's add a little bit of yellow to this leg here. That's more orange, which is fine. And then to the face, maybe right here. There. Right there to represent that fire. And I think that's going to be it for the skin tone. Darken ear, which should be yellow anyway. Yeah, so that's going to be it for the skin tone. So now I'm going to pull out my other markers and color the clothes, which it's not a, she's kind of got a silock, so I don't want to do blue. I think I'm going to go purple. It's not silock, obviously, but you know, it's got that bathing suit, that full kind of bathing, silock kind of bathing suit. So I'm going to purple. Three shades of purple here. Going to the Touch Twins. And I saw that Touch New marker has skin colors. So I think I might invest in that. Always invest in yourself as an artist. You don't have to keep buying the new phones. Every time an iPhone comes out with a new phone. This one I'm going to start out with $1,000 for a phone that does the same thing your $800 phone does, which does the same thing your $600 phone does, which is the same thing your $200 phone does. So you will never, unless you're some kind of electronic geek, think about this. You will never use that $2,000 phone to its full capacity. You're just playing a game or texting or something like that. So why would you keep spending all that money on a phone just because it came out to impress your friends? To say, oh, you know, I've got this phone now. Okay, so same color. I've got the iPhone 21. I've got the iPhone 29 just because it came out just to text your friends and to say you're paying all that money, or somebody's paying all that money for a phone that's going to do the same thing as your old phone. So this went all the way around her arm, and I know I said I was going to do just one piece at a time. I was seeing how it was going to be. So again, we've got that fire. So purple and a little bit of light yellow, maybe. Let's try this pale yellow. Around the highlights, the high areas. And then I'll come back again with another purple, another darker purple. I can keep building up with this purple, or I can go darker, even darker. And as I said, this is it's not. I'm not feeling any part of the paper being so wet that it might tear on me. This is going down so smooth. So for me, I would choose this over the Copics because it's a lot cheaper. A set of 60 was, I think it was $270, something like that, $270. Price a set of 60 Copic markers and see what you get. Let's see if I go a little darker or go way dark. Let's go way dark. And then come back with the lightest one and blend those two in while it's still wet. Go with this again. Back with a lighter, and I always keep them in my hand. I keep the pins in my hand that I can just kind of switch back quickly before it even starts to think about drying up. It doesn't really dry up quickly, but I don't want to give it that opportunity to dry up. My light is really weird because it'll go darker and it'll go lighter on me. Depends on how I move. I really don't want this to be an issue, this light to be an issue. So anyway, let's keep going. I'm gonna buy some studio lights one day. You have to spend the money on yourself, on your skills. That's the only way you can get better at this. It's like when you play the Forza Motorsports or whatever car game. If you play a car game, you have to upgrade your engines. You have to keep spending your money on your tires and so forth. And that's the only way you'll become a better racer, if you have better equipment. So it's the only way you become a better artist is if you spend money on yourself towards your skills. And you're hearing the snapping of the caps because I am continuously switching. So I think I'm gonna go with the purple, dark purple boots, dark purple boots, and then a light strap. I think I went into it. And one thing about this, it will bleed. That is one of the probably the worst thing about it. If you put too much on, especially around your edges, it'll bleed out. I know I said I was going to color one piece at one time and let it, but this is going to be so dark, so I want it to dry. It's not really going to be really blending in this one. It will and it won't, but it's going to be so dark. And this is the same color, using the same color. And it is still kind of wet. And I can go over it again. I'll just bring that out a little bit more. So here on the edge. And on the other edge. Like that. And you see how this kind of dried lighter? I don't know if you can really see it in the camera. Let me cut this light off. Maybe it'll translate. I'm going to go over it one more time with the lighter purple. And some spots. Leave it at that. And I'm going to go again with the dark purple down here. So this is like the third time I'm going over this, and it just builds up into a nice gradual dark shadow. And of course, it is really hard for me to see it without my extra light on, but I want you guys to be able to see the actual color that's going down. I don't know, I'm thinking about a blue, maybe a blue for the stripes, something just, something to give a little more color to it. But I do want this headband to be purple. A blue or a yellow, maybe a yellow. Just to make it bright and make her hair yellow at the same time. So what? Still thinking. So let's do a yellow. Let's do a yellow for the time being for the bands. Let me take all my Tombows and put them back. And they also come with a black. It also comes with a black, and that's a lot of things. The markers don't come with black. Certain packs don't come with a black. What did I say? Yellow. Or orange yellow. Let's take this yellow and then go to a dark yellow. And the belt. I'm on the fence with the straps on the legs. I don't want to make her too colorful. Give her that kind of like clown look. And the armbands. Well, why not just go ahead and do the armbands yellow? And as far as blending, as I said, I'll only do a certain amount and then I'll blend it. These are so small. These areas are so small, and I just went outside the line, which is not good, that there's no need for me to even let it kind of dry or stay wet to blend it. I'm gonna go for even a darker, maybe a brownish yellow, because that's the underside of the belt sash. So that's gonna get that shadow just like the edges will. And the bottom of her straps. Everybody in my universe has belts and straps. I don't know why. Under there, and like about right here. And the notch there. And that's light, so that's going to be dark. So let's, you know, this purple is really good, but I think I'm going to try to go even a darker purple. Maybe a blue, add some blue to that purple to darken it out a little bit. And I'm going to make her leg bands purple as well, just because. Light purple. To dark. Versus dark like the boots. And try to darken that out. Now if I wanted it shiny, I would have left some white. Are you actually focused? To make it look like a shiny, glistening kind of material. But it's cloth, so it's not gonna have that shine to it. What am I working on? So that's a color that was not introduced, which I really don't want that. So let's see if I can cover that with this purple. Makes it a little darker, which is not bad. For what I wanted. It's not. All right, yellow hair, orange hair, orange hair. We done with the purple? No. Then what did I say? Blue? I was gonna add some blue or maybe some light gray. I think I'm gonna stick with the light gray. To give it a little more shadow. That's too dark. That would work. So we'll give just a little shadow here. Definitely here. That's almost invisible to me. even in the face. And back here under this arm. As I said, it's just so small. You really can't do too much to it because you won't see the details, and then the paper is not completely white. So, I mean, I could just add like 1,000 colors and you really wouldn't see it. So, let's go down here. Since this is the very bottom, I mean, that bad boy is like, if anything, it's just like whitening it up. Let's go a little darker then, just because I'm at the bottom of that. And I add like a little shadow here. And as I said, I could play with this thing forever and ever, but you won't really see too much of it because it's so small. It's just so small of detail. Let's go for the orange hair. Let's do some yellow and then go orange. My favorite color right here. As far as markers, favorite color would be a blue, somewhere in the blue family. But since I'm an earth tone, an earth, whatever they call that, earth tone, I kind of like yellows and browns. She's a true blonde. Blonde eyebrows, which I can't do. So now we'll go to orange a little bit. Almost kind of reminded me of Miss Marvel a little bit. And that's the problem. There's so many heroes and people are coming out with so many heroes. It's really hard to get something really, truly 100% original, especially color-wise. Like this pendant, I'm going to make that stand out. So it's going to be red and something. Red and something. I keep reaching for this red, but I think this is my least favorite color because it stands out too much. But this is comics, so you want it to stand out. I think that's about all I want to do with this of the body. So I'm going to fast forward it and play with the temple, the ruins, and the sword. Because this has already been a few minutes. This is already long-winded. And again, as I say, I've marked this and marked this and marked this, and the paper is still fine. It's still fine. It's not like the Tombow. So I would say the Tombow will make your paper wet, so you have to get a really good paper. So I'm going to fast forward to this and then just, color the rest because I don't want this to be 2 hours. So let's go. All right, so this is where I would need like more like the paisley pale colors for the background. I'm trying to look for something that do these stones, but everything is just so bright that I don't know what to use. All right, and there you go with the finished product. Again, I can just keep adding and adding and adding, but because it's a small picture, you can't do too much with shades and tones and shadows, too much anyway. So let me find the before picture and then I will compare the two. So here you have your before and your after picture, colored and non-colored. And this is the time I start to ramble, so I'm not going to ramble. Let me see if I can just zoom in a little bit tighter because you really can't see too much in the monitor. Maybe after it is edited, you'll be able to see the color a little clearer, but yeah, I definitely need to invest in a more expensive camera. All right, so there you go. Hopefully the light is picking up it clear enough. And yeah, so that's it for this video. And I will see you guys after I zoom out. I will see you guys in the next video later.